our research mirrored other recently published work in suggesting a very strong sense of dislocation and disempowerment among citizens in the developed world, in our own country, for whom the complexity and scale of international economic system challenge excluded them from any meaningful contribution or debate. They felt the victims of change. They felt no power whatsoever. And the contradictions that they were being told in diagnosis and cure frustrated and confused citizens in our research. One day advised to save and pay down debt, the next to spend and kickstart the economy. And citizens started to express, and they do express, a cynicism about expert advice. And the media, particularly in our research, was viewed negatively, favouring adversarial dispute and debate over explanation and understanding. Now, isolated from these international institutions, which are incredibly important, as we would understand, and frustrated with this kind of bipolarity and incomprehensibility of the economic debate, citizens became that disengaged that they couldn't find a voice within which to participate. And the dangers of a domestic public audience setting itself against globalization within a climate of powerlessness and mistrust are many, not least that the crisis is so obviously shared across borders and requires intergovernmental as well as local solutions. And a vacuum in what we call this public economic debate is too easily filled by isolationist voices which will drown out systems-based reforming diagnosis and palliative proposals. And our conclusion was there appears an opportunity and a challenge to NGOs to re-engage, to recapture some of this lost ground. Because, as I said, this crisis of confidence in business and politicians means that whilst they're not powerless to help, they're not trusted to help. And we have to demonstrate through NGOs the relevance of our international organizations, and we have to say to these highly trusted organizations, get back into the fray, come back in and start a debate. If you don't do that, as we've said in our report, if you are not able to pollinate that fertilization, understanding of what happens between countries, and make people understand the relationship of complex institutions, more and more they'll come in back to their own perceived self-interest, more isolationist, more protectionist, and distrust even more the international governments. I think our conclusion is this. Looking at NGOs, they were heavily engaged in groundbreaking system change thinking around development and economic thinking. They were able to make the personal relevant to what people could do, also to explain through the personal actions you can take the complexities and engagement with the system. They're highly skilled at delivering practical innovations at grassroots level. Now, the challenge that we are setting, and we'd like, this is why we're here, to hear whether this has resonance with you, is to connect that expertise and change thinking into domestic economic debate. Not to undertake it themselves, but to seek partnership with the other institutions, with politicians, with business leaders, to re-engage with the debate about the value of trade, the value of entrepreneurship, and the fact that global rules actually do protect our interests. And our conclusion, as I've said, is that if that doesn't happen, what we will see now is a fracturing of the debate and a disengagement. And when you have less understanding and less engagement, you have some very dangerous underpinning for political action and demonstration.